You are listening to part 2 of episode 40 of the Psychotherapist Podcast. In this part of the episode, Sir Bobbert and I speculate on the origins of the Putin invasion and who knew what and when and who lied and all these wonderful positive things. We talk about 69 AD, the year of the four emperors, specifically the second of those four emperors, a guy named Otho. We share a story from Solzhenitsyn about if Stalin's giving a speech, how you better not be the first one to stop clapping. And we get into conspiracy theories about how Joe Biden, our favorite president, the most popular president ever elected, statistically, factually, may or may not have a body double. All that and more on this episode of the Psychotherapist Podcast. We thank you for listening. God bless.
And I did some work on yesterday for the military, some online screenings. This was mostly because of the naval station. The other thing here is we have a large naval station here. Because of proximity to Boston, that's kind of one of the substations. So I have a lot of contact with them, and they asked me to do some screening. So I did some telehealth screenings for a couple of hours. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get any insight whatsoever as to what they wanted these people screened for. It was mostly, do you see any signs or any red flags? Mostly of PTSD that would prevent them from performing right now.
Right.
And I didn't talk to anyone about, where are these, what do you want them to do or where they're going?
Yeah.
So they could be stockpiling, for something.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I get a little, and I haven't even gone to this sort of level of I don't know, tinfoil, whatever you want to call it. There was something, I didn't really get to check out the video. I think I got interrupted, but there was something about how they knew years ahead of time that Putin was going to invade Ukraine or something, do something, essentially what he did. And where was I going with this? Yeah, there was it's just kind of weird to me. It makes me seriously wonder what knowledge, Biden is privy to for two reasons. One, the media was so certain that Putin was going to invade that a lot of people thought he wasn't. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
I remember before it happened, I was telling my sister, because at the time I really believed it wasn't going to happen. I thought he was just going to use the threat of war to get what he wanted. But I remember telling her, I bet I can turn on this TV right now and, CNN will say Putin is invading. And, it's whatever. After I told her that it's probably not going to happen, then I turn it on the TV, and it's Fareed Zakarian. It's U.S. intelligence is sure that Putin will invade Ukraine any day now. Literally, that kind of stuff. It's how do they know that, And that combined with Biden withdrawing from Afghanistan, just rediverting all those resources, ahead of time, and that was only 5 or 6 months before the Ukraine invasion or whatever, and he's mentioned some shit with China, so who fucking knows, because at one level Biden is probably beholden to China you wouldn't fucking believe. But at the same time, maybe that's an incentive for him to fucking start a war, you know what I mean, over this shit.
Right.
There was, as a just 30-second quick story, there was a guy who was, there was a year in ancient Rome called the Year of the Four Emperors, where it was just this big civil war after Nero died. And the second guy amongst the four emperors, I think it was Otho, he thought he was going to be the successor to the guy who was in charge at the time, so he took out all these loans and made all these plans on the assumption that he was going to be emperor. And then when he found out he wasn't going to be emperor, he's like, shit, I am in so much debt, I better stage a coup. Literally, You know, so it makes, I don't know, man, it just really makes me wonder.
Yeah, right. When you keep saying, Biden might do this or Biden might have heard this, you're making the assumption that Biden is actually the one in control. When
Right. I should say Biden administration.
There you go.
Yeah.
And who the hell, he certainly doesn't have a clue on any level. So, I mean, the fact that, when people think, I don't know, they try to present it as if he knows what's going on, and he fails every time.
It really is just so disturbing to me, and just, I think it was before we recorded, back to what I was saying earlier about people in the media being even worse than the fucking politicians, because it's like the level of gaslighting and interference and acting like a dude just completely getting lost off stage and then like wandering around,
literally,
and then like picking up the mic but they cut his mics.
Yes.
And then needing handlers to come on and it's like escort him off, and it's just, they just acting like it's normal. And there was some story, I don't know the context, I briefly heard about it last night, but there was some very recent thing where Biden told some story in the punchline, or he recognized or something, but basically what he said was like, I was 30 and she was 12. And like, she did so much for me, and it's like, what?
Exactly. Yeah.
What? But they're all cheering. They're all clapping like fucking seals. Oh, that's so funny, Mr. President. Oh, you're so great. You want an ice cream cone? Like,
yeah, it's like people are holding, somebody's on the sidelines holding up signs, applause, laugh.
Holding up signs and a pistol.
Yeah, exactly. In their bank account numbers,
And their home addresses. Yeah.
You're the cheer, like on the shows on TV,
Yeah.
You are the cheering squad.
Yeah. There's a story from the Gulag Archipelago where a guy gave a Stalinist speech and everyone started clapping. And they were so afraid to stop clapping that it went on for like an hour, and like the old people were like literally keeling over and had to be like brought out. And then the first person who finally stopped it, straight to Gulag.
Right. I was gonna say, you heard a gunshot and you heard a body drop. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, really, to know who is in charge.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about this FBI whistleblower saying there's something about how, like, oh yeah, they were all trying to, like, it was just basically a coup against Trump and all this shit. And,
yep, I have heard that.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Because I've barely been into it.
Well, it was a coup against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
As was that famous date. I can't remember the date that they're putting everybody in jail over.
January 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've made my thoughts known about how that was just one big fucking Fed psyop.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Whatever. Ray Epps, if you're listening, well done, sir. Well played.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a scary thought, though, to think that, this bonehead is up there, and, doesn't know whether to turn left or turn right. Has, no clue on most dates what city he's in or where he is. And they know they have to prop him up. They know he has to be more visible and he has to speak a little bit more. They still try to limit it, but...
I'm just shocked they haven't gone like a Hollywood stunt double, and just like get all the makeup and he can like do the voice and he can just be a little less fucking dysfunctional,
That's good. That's great.
Keep the aviators on him at all times. Maybe get him a funny hat. I don't fucking know.
You may not be too far off, because I don't watch Saturday Night Live all the time, but they've used 3 or 4 people in character as Biden.
Yeah.
And people have weighed in on who's the best one, and stuff. And that could very well be just, casting, preview.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of these people and see if, anybody has a reaction to them.
Yeah, for
visceral reaction, saying, wow, maybe we could pull it off with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it would explain why during the sort of like Red Wall speech, that I'm just going to call it, where he had the blood red lighting and everything, I remember a lot of people, including Biden critics, were like, yeah, that was really creepy and unsettling, but he did deliver that speech really well.
Yeah.
He barely forgot his, I don't know, I just assumed he had something he was finally excited to talk about, and that's kind of just gauged his mind enough to like stay in the zone. But maybe that was just an actor. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought he was pumped up on Adderall or Ritalin.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, he's probably like being used like a fucking Russian Olympic mule at this point, bro. Like his health is probably gonna be so just destroyed the second he steps out of office.
Oh, absolutely.
Poor guy.
Poor guy, yeah. Poor us. I had to brought this was a picture. This article that had the thing on the cognitive stuff was also has, I haven't read it yet, an article on chaos society. You know, people thrive on chaos, but the audience can't see this, so you can look at it after. But it's really interesting because they do it in a Where's Waldo sort of. See my finger on my right hand. Where's Waldo,
I see it. Yeah.
But then they have these symbols and signs throughout. You know.
Yeah, man. Remind me to take a picture of that on my way out.
I thought you'd love this.
One, because I love it, and two, because I could put it on the screen for the audience.
Great.
Yeah, I'll just take a photo.
It just is outrageous. You know, they've got every sort of caricature you could imagine in here.
Is BlueAnon in there? I saw QAnon.
I'm sure they've got, you know, they've got, I mean, it's all in here. So I'm sure
is Keith Olbermann in there screaming about Russian scum?
You'll sure see it though, because they've got so much in here.
Yeah.
And they got all the signs and symbols. And I think this is this Russian character here. Who the hell is this? This guy right here with the microphone.
I have no idea. But that's a really great drawing. I love it.
Oh yeah, is this, what's his name? The conspiracy guy?
Oh yeah, that's got to be Alex Jones.
Yeah, it's Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I love it, you know, and the caricature of this person in the front, you know.
Oh yeah,
the black radical, you know, with the hipness and mouth wide open,
just screaming into her phone.
Screaming into her phone, yeah.
Yeah.
In the end, yeah, definitely take a picture of it. Scamdemic, lies. The Great Reset 22.
I mean, shit, dog. The Great Reset. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's an open fact.
Yep.
Like, literally, the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab said, yes, we want to bring the Great Reset, and we want you to eat the bugs and sleep in the pod and save the environment.
Yeah, it's great.
Psycho.
So, God, we've covered a lot. We've been all over the place here, mostly political stuff. So
I'm just going to pause the tape just for editing ease.
Yeah.